Good morning. This wasn't supposed to be the first picture. The first picture was supposed to be me announcing that we're going to make this tape, but it's so windy this morning that I thought I'd start and real quick take a picture of our house from across the street, some idea what it looks like coming down our street, then up to our house, and then move across the street now to right in front of the house so that you can get a closer view of the house. I'm having a little trouble because the shadows are very strong this morning. Okay, this is a dahlia flower, or a plant, that Jackie has had since she was in 4-H, about 20 or 30 years ago. It hasn't done all that well this year because it hasn't gotten big like it has in the past. We don't know if it's crowded or if the bulbs are getting tired or what, but we dig them up every year and replant them. This hole in the ground and then that other empty space back there are where we ripped out a plant called a New Zealand flax that was taking over the whole yard. This guy right here is a type of yucca. And let's see how close I can get so you can see the needles on that sucker. It's right on the end of right on the end of each of those stems is the needle like that. Plus there are needles up and down the stems, and I've stabbed myself good more than once. Okay, let's back it up a little bit. Now what you're looking at there is the bottom of a palm tree, and there he is all the way up. Now working across the front of the yard, these plants that are sort of filling the frame right now are another type of yucca. Then Jackie and I, well actually Jackie mostly, grew these little flowers from seed this year, and I'll be darned if I can think of what they are at the moment. There's a whole row of them right along the front of the house. Took them forever to flower since we started with seeds. Let me move in now on one of these yuccas so you can see up close what they look like. See down here on the bottom, it's been blunted so that a kid can't walk into it. As you get up higher, let me move over to this one because the light's a little better. As you get up higher, you can see that very sharp needles on the end of each of those leaves. We've stabbed ourselves more than once on them. Okay. Zooming back a little bit now. Going around the front of the flowers. Now, this plant right here, can't see any of them, but right underneath that green sheath is a flower. And the flower looks a lot like a banana, except it has a beautiful, beautiful smell of orange to it. You can see that we got a lot of sycamore leaves down this morning. We've had real windy weather here for the last week or so, kind of unseasonably cool, and electric light standard. I don't even know if I got a bulb in it at the moment. Okay, now this big hole that's coming into focus right now, where there was another one of those big New Zealand flax. Now if you look at this grassy area over here, this is what all of the yard would look like if we didn't water it at least twice a week. All dry and brown and dirty and not very nice. I'll zoom in here for a minute and show you the burglar alarm, which in all honesty is almost we've never turned on since we've lived here. Okay, now we're back at it here, and that's Jackie's petunia plant, and then that's the residential burglar alarm. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that I had to water twice a week or nothing would grow. Actually, flowers and things have to be watered every day. This is a sprinkler that I'm using at the moment. What it does is it gently rocks back and forth on the end of a hose. It makes a nice water pattern spray back and forth. That'll go all the way out to the end of the edge of the sycamores. And as it comes back, the water goes higher, then it's straight up for a while, then it shoots back the other way. I got to do that twice a week, and areas of the yard that I have trouble hitting tend to get real dry and brown, like this little area right here. See, you can see how dark that is, brown that is compared to the rest of the yard. Let me swing over it. I'm not sure that this showed all that well. See, this is the side of the yard. This is the other side of the driveway, and I don't water over here at all. And you can see that it's very, very, very dry. We have a plan to do some landscaping over here so that it will not be a problem. That hole on the bush is where that gigantic plant was growing, grew into the bush and caused all the leaves and stems on that side to die off. This, you're not going to get much of a picture of this because it's half shadow and half shade. But this bush plant right here, I have no idea what it is, but it sort of looks like an oak leaf on a vine. And I've cut that thing off all the way to the ground in that brick planter box more than once, and it just comes right back. That's my gate. We'll see the gate from the other side. Okay, now this is the first view most people get of our backyard. This is taken from the dining room door. And you can see the plantings along the family room and the corner of the patio, the pool house, and the pool. And you're going to see a lot of dog in these pictures. Okay, so I'm going to go out, have to go down a step. Now let me just shoot some. So there's a little bush right next to the patio door. A reflection of me there. I'll move around this way a little bit. The sun's to my back. And that's our hummingbird feeder. And later on I want to take some close-up pictures of that with birds at it. So you can see what it looks like. It looks like a little cactus with a flower, and then there's just a glass stem out the bottom. But we get some really beautiful yellow birds that come to it. Now this plant that we're looking down on right now is an aloe plant of some kind. And these are the yellow flowers that it gets, and the hummingbirds just love these flowers. Now the camera may be having trouble focusing because it doesn't know quite where to focus, so let me just get in real close. See, the hummingbirds with their big long bills, they can reach right inside those flowers and get what they want. Okay, let's zoom in back a little bit. Keep the sun to my back. Now, that window is to our little sort of third storage room dressing room, and that window is to our bedroom. This thing wrapped up in the white plastic is the pool cover, and there's the old beach ball blowing into the corner. Going on around the other window to our bedroom, and then the second window, the one toward the front, is our guest room. And this area on the end is kind of a useless area. The people that owned the house for a number of years, we're told, used it for a dog run. If you look there, you can see the sprinkler sprinkling out front. It gives you some idea of where I am relative to the front. Okay? I don't know what you're going to be able to see in the water. The pool is moderately clean at the moment. I vacuumed it earlier this week. I think it was on Monday. But with windy weather, all kinds of stuff blows into it. So you may already be able to see some things on the bottom, which is going to look because of the lighting. That's my big cactus, and that's the palm tree out front. And then the little fir tree, pine tree off to the side is the juniper tree in my neighbor's backyard. Let's see, I might zoomed all the way back. Okay, there's a view of the back of the house with beach ball, and I suspect the dog's in there someplace. No, he's not. Surprise, surprise, and that's the family room. On around the side of the pool, there's another cactus. And then right beyond the cactus, that green bush, is an oleander. And I'm pretty sure that's the one that caused all my allergy problems last summer. Alright, now we're going to stop the camera and go to the other end of the... Here's a couple more aloe plants, another yucca, and then this little building is the pool house. We'll go in it in a minute. These are Jackie's summer flowers, and regrettably, I shut the camera off there for a minute. Regrettably, it's around the 10th of July, so these are the summer flowers, but they're already starting to fade out on us a little bit. The light's not real good at the moment. I think they're all marigolds this year. We had something else last year, but Jackie didn't like them very much. They were long and spindly and never really looked like much. This pot right here, the bigger flowers are bedding dahlias, and then the little white flowers are asylum. And there's some more marigolds. A couple pots of petunias here that I've been watering too much, and they don't like a lot of water. They're not doing any good at all. I've stopped watering them. This thing right here is a type of a sunflower. And last year he flowered a whole lot longer than this. Now this year he's starting to stop flowering already. Last year we had flowers on this guy until well into September. So we're not sure if he's getting old or just what's going on. See if I can get a close-up of any of these other flowers. Yeah. Yeah, this is the Mercury News' TV camera. We use it for sales training. So I'm not real sure. Now this is a view of our deck. That plant right in the middle on the cart is our Christmas tree. You can see the wheels, and when it's time to take the Christmas tree in each year, I just roll that thing into the house, and it's alive, and we don't water it all the time. It's getting really windy. And see this part of the deck that's sort of turned upside down? It's normally that goes in this open concrete area, kind of where my shadow is. But we're babysitting a dog this week that's 14 or 15 years old. She doesn't get around so well. So I've turned it up. Actually, I keep it turned up a lot because she's been over. Because I don't really like it. It's easier to move back and forth if I can move in the concrete area. Okay, this plant that we're zooming out on right now is an asparagus fern. And I think that eventually it will take over all, well, I don't know, there's some kind of other thing growing in there. Will take over all of this area. There's the old dog face. Say hello, Nathan. He wagged his tail and said hello. Okay, now I'm going to back up here. I want to get a picture. As you can see, I've had to change my perspective quite a lot. Now, the three little trees on the left, actually there are four little trees on the left, are yuccas, kind of like we have out front, okay? And then there are two big palm trees right in the middle. I have to be careful where I'm walking here so I don't go in the swimming pool. Okay, the tree in the middle is a Christmas tree. Again, there's a yucca on the right. Then there's the two big palm trees. Okay, and that's a sort of a long view of the deck. We're going to go from a long view to a real close-up view of a couple of the rose plants. The roses aren't doing very well. They get the powdery mildew, and plus they live right underneath these darn palm trees, and the palm trees also get powdery mildew and drop powdery mildew down on them. But I'll work in here. Let me focus in on just a couple of the flowers on the top. Because we do have some roses that look pretty good. I want to see how close I get in on this one. Yeah, see, that's not really a prime flower, but it's not bad. It's not bad. The roses get watered once a week. And I do them on a rotating basis. I sort of do one a day. This is a nice white rose. Let's see if we can zoom down in on that. Yeah, see, the camera's having trouble adjusting to that whiteness. Okay, and then this little rose bush right here is kind of a pink. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it because what I'm looking through doesn't show colors. And another little rose bush and a couple more over in the corner. Got one back here in the shade. Turn my camera just a little bit to a different setting. This is kind of a dusty purple color. Yeah, the camera can't focus in quite that close. I'll move around a little bit. Back off just a little one. I don't know whether you'll be able to see it or not. This is our patio, and we'll spend some more time on there in a little while. And this is a row of impatiens. We put in this planter box full of impatiens every year because there's basically no sun along here. So we got to have something that'll grow in the shade, and the impatiens love the shade. And then we had a few spares this year, so Jackie made this real pretty hanging basket of impatiens. Okay, now we're getting ready to go into the orchard. I'm going to warn you in advance that we make no effort to keep the orchard very neat and clean. So it's pretty messy. Look, face against it. Hello. Nathan. He doesn't want to. He wants me to stop horsing around and play ball with him. Okay. There's my bicycle and an old pool vacuum hose that he left to go, so we'll go in the door of the pool house here in a minute. Okay, this first tree that we're looking at is the apricot tree. And right down there, what looks like kind of a big open space where you can sort of see a sawed-off stump where I had a couple limbs break off recently. Okay, now, the apricots are just on the verge of being ripe. In fact, my guess is that they'll be ripe at about the time we're in Indiana and Michigan. Apricots aren't supposed to grow in clusters like this, and I didn't thin them soon enough. And by the time I did thin them, I really couldn't thin them as much as I would have liked to. Now, there's supposed to be about 4 or 5 inches between each apricot. We didn't have any apricots at all last year, but the first year we were here we had some, and they were fairly sweet. Okay, now moving on down and backing up, the tree is a plum tree, Santa Rosa plums. And there are 2 or 3 plums still left on the tree. We get about 500 plums a year off this tree, and the first 12 are delicious. But what to do with the next 200, and then the next 400, and then the next 200 is the problem. There's one plum right there. Let's see, where is he? There he is. They're very, very, very sweet, almost perfumey sweet. Fortunately, one of our neighbors really likes them, so we gave her some, and then I took the rest to the office and people ate them as snacks. And there's another little fruit tree, and I don't remember what that one is. This guy's another plum tree, not a Santa Rosa plum, but another kind. You can see there's a few plums down on the end of a limb here. These aren't very good. And this little tree right here is a little baby apple tree. Now looking back up across the other side of the orchard, the tallest tree there is a pear tree that has had no production for 2 years because of the way I pruned it. This is a tangerine tree, and I got good tangerines off this tangerine tree, and that little tree right in front is, I believe, a plum tree, but I wouldn't swear to that. And then this little tree right back here, which you're not going to be able to see very well, is a peach tree where we get nothing, but the squirrels like to come eat the little peaches before they get big. Now back here in the corner, I've got an orange tree, and as you can probably see, it is just full of beautifully shaped little oranges. But they're about as big as a good-sized grape. The problem is, this tree doesn't get enough sun. See, it's right underneath this great big pine tree, which shades it for most of the day. So it doesn't get enough sun for the oranges to get large. They are very sweet, and I don't do anything with this tree. I don't water it or anything. Now, so that, see, I don't water this whole area. As you can see, there are catch basins dug underneath each of these trees, and I just fill those with water once a week. That's Jackie's little potting area where she works on her flowers. And that's an old lawnmower guy gave me. That's a statue that used to be in our backyard over by the swimming pool, and I just hated it so much that finally, one day when Jackie was out, although she didn't like it particularly, I just went and took it down and brought it back here. It's kind of a cheap plaster statue. This is a little apple tree, and if the squirrels and birds haven't got all the apples, there's a couple down there. I'll show you the apples. We think it's a red delicious. We don't really know because we've never eaten an apple off of it, because the squirrels and birds and other woodland creatures like the apples. Actually, what they're most fond of at the moment is the apricots. And the squirrels will come and get an apricot and either sit right down there and eat it, or they walk right along that sidewalk and hop up on the fence and go along the fence, and then they go and sit up there and eat their apricot and throw the pit down and some other garbage. This is a grape plant, and there's another one right across grapevine. They've never produced a darn thing, and I don't know why they're even here. Trees back here. We get a lot of pine needles that fall down all the time. And probably a half dozen times a year I have to come out here and rake, because the dog is real fond. First off, this area is what he uses as his bathroom. But he's real fond of coming back here and kind of rolling around in the pine needles. And of course they're full of pine sap, so they stick to him. Now we're going to go out the back gate, and if you thought that the orchard looked bad, you can see nothing till you see the outside the back gate. Okay, our property line extends to the middle of that little creek down there. Right down there, okay? But this area is utterly useless because the bank is so steep. So everybody who lives along here uses this as their dumping area. And I've been doing a big cleanup out front. I've probably cleaned 2,000 or 3,000 bushels of stuff from the front and brought it back here and dumped it. And that's what all this stuff is. And we'll move out a little bit. Now that's a view down the creek. Now there's a plan. The city of San Jose has a plan to build a park right down in the area that you're looking at. I'll try to zoom him out a little bit. Yeah, right down in that area, and then a bicycle path all the way along the creek on the other side. In some places it'd be down low, in some places it'd be up high. There's the other end of the creek. You see the back of a fence. It doesn't look like anything spectacular. It certainly never gets painted. For most of the summer, this creek is dry. Highest I've ever seen water in this creek, and it was after we had almost 6 inches of rain in about 5 days in the winter of 86, was right up to the level of this tree. Okay, so that gives you some idea of how high the water gets. Obviously, if the bank is as high as it is, the water would have to come a lot higher than it's ever come to get to our house or even our backyard. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind if it came up here and washed away some of this stuff that I've cleaned up and thrown over the edge. Come here, buddy. See, if you look at him right now, if I can get him to turn the right way, you got pine needles all over him. He's trying to get him off, but of course he's laying down right where they are to get him off. Okay, now I have no idea what you're going to be able to see here, but this is the back side of the pool house. This is some metal shelves where we keep our tools and our garden chemicals and things. There's a little loft up there where we just put junk. Those pieces of plastic are the covers for the firewood pile, and then there's my log carrier and my fireplace gloves. The big blue thing is the filter tank for the swimming pool, and the little blue thing is the motor. Now, let's see how close in I can get on that motor. It says Centurion switchless motor. I don't know what that means, but I think you can see what happens. The water comes into the filtering system from the right here and hits this large bronze object where there's a basket that filters out any big leaves or stuff, and then is pumped up and into the filter tank. Now, the green thing on the back is an old little old waste basket, and although it may look like it's just sitting there, it only serves a purpose. But I have to bleed the pressure out of the air, out of the tank. I cover the valve with this, and then when all the air is gone, the water doesn't spray all over the place. Okay, you can probably hear the motor running right now. Now, what we're focusing in on, the camera's having a hard time keeping it in focus, pressure gauge. The pressure right now is just under 9, and when it gets up to around 12, then I have to take the whole filter apart. Actually, when it gets up to about 10, I have to take the whole filter apart, and when it gets to 10, I have to flush it, and then when it gets to 12, I have to take the whole filter apart and clean it out. I've got a couple of lamps hanging there, and you can see they're on clamps, and I've also got the clamps hooked on the nails. Thing in the back's the time clock. You can see the on and off kicker. And then this strange green beastie is the pool heater, which of course we never turn on because it costs $50 a week to run it. The other side of the pool house. And it's got a shower in it that I occasionally use, but obviously I don't use it too often because we've got a chair and some other stuff there. That's one of the other statues that was hanging out there right behind the toilet, which is exactly where that sucker belongs. And there's an exercise bicycle that Jackie's mom and dad use sometimes when they're here. These bottles are muriatic acid for the swimming pool, which I don't have to add very often because the pool the acid balance in the water is pretty good. Then that HTH drum, the big blue drum, is one kind of pool chlorine. And that's another kind of pool chlorine. And there's the little testing kit. And those rings, those colored rings, are toys. You know, you throw them in the swimming pool and dive in after them. And that's the vacuum hose. And right there's some of the pool chemicals. Nothing very exciting. It's got a little mirror so that if you wanted to comb your hair, you could. Alright, we're going to move to the patio. That's Jackie checking out some of her flowers. Turn so they can see your shirt. I got her that shirt for Christmas the first year we were here because slugs and snails were eating all of her pretty flowers.
These are my gardening clothes.
Yes, those are her gardening clothes. She'll dress up later, Betty, so don't get down on her about it. Okay, Jackie's walking across the back the patio and is going to go in and start on lunch. And so that's the patio from across the swimming pool. Zoom in on the patio. From here. And then we'll move over a little. Impatiens again. I thought I'd walk right down the row. We traditionally put these in around Easter time. This is the first year we've done Ahoy, and in all honesty, I don't like it very much I really prefer a mixture of colors. You know, we've always had reds and pinks, and I think even some blues in the past. These flowers are called delphinium, and they're supposed to get real long and tall, but they're not supposed to be spindly like this. Now, the reason why they're so spindly is that they don't get enough light. They really would like full 100% sunlight all the time. But all in all, they haven't turned out badly. You know, they're nice colors. There's blues and purples and whites. I guess that's a dark purple. And they're better than what we had there, which was nothing. That's the thermometer that Jack and Betty gave us for Christmas. I think our first Christmas here, which would have been 85. Yes, 85. It's got a little clock and a thermometer, and it's 70 degrees, and a little windy. I'll probably go in the pool after a while. See if we can get a little better shot of Jackie's hanging basket of impatiens. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Nice wooden redwood chairs out here. Shoot over here. Little coffee tables. There's the dog face. Always ready to stand by to have his picture taken. Nice cushions on the chairs. And these flowers right here are some winter flowers that we keep here so they don't get the sun. Picnic table. Then this is the built-in grill and the built-in sink. We'll get up here real close so you can see the sink. Got hot and cold running water in this sink. And then the built-in grill, I'm not sure you're going to be able to see much of. This is the chimney that I use to start the charcoal with. And right there in the center of the picture, that thing with the 4 holes in it, is the gas jet. And I fill this chimney thing with charcoal. I'll show you after a while. Fill it with charcoal and light the gas jet to get the charcoal started burning. And then there's a grate that goes across right there if you want to cook in that grill, and I almost never do. Okay, I got to change my light setting here for a second. Okay, now that's the back of the house. Swing out across the swimming pool, and back again, so you have some idea where you are in relationship to everything else you've already seen. Okay, and now just a real brief tour up the side of the house. These white blinds I hung out here because we get tremendous sun on this side of the house. I thought they might take some heat off the side. Jackie says they have not. This is my 90-gallon garbage can that everybody's heard me rave about, because I can fill so much in it. And then this is about 1 1/4 of wood. And we put this July, the Saturday, Friday, so I took the Monday off as the holiday, and we used my little 2-wheel cart and had 1/4 wood delivered. But as you can see, I think, the movement of 1/4 wood wrecked the wheels on my little 2-wheel cart, or 4-wheel cart rather. Okay. Alright, it's lunchtime, so I'm going to stop this thing. And I might as well keep it running as I walk back along the firewood. We've already got our Yule log picked out, it's sitting right there. And I believe... Okay, we're back. It's now been about 2 hours since I last shot anything. That's Jackie heading out of the room. And the dog is standing right where he likes to stand, close to the camera. Say hello, dog. He says hello a lot. This is our family room. This is where we spend all of our time, except when we're eating or sleeping. When we eat in the little dining area that I'll show you in a minute. And we sleep in the bedroom that I'll show you in a little while. This chair is mine. And that chair, which is identical, is Jackie's. This dog is not Nathan. This dog is Jenny. Jenny! Jenny! Who is staying with us this weekend. We were babysitting her. She's a very old hound face. This dog is Nathan. Okay, there's Jackie again.
Hi there.
I'll zoom in on Jackie. Call the dog.
Here, Nathan. This is to add interest in this video.
That's right, because so far it's been pretty static. I mean, the wind whiffling the swimming pool is about as hot as it's gotten.
Here we are. Come on, dogs, do something. Oh, Nathan didn't want to stay.
Okay, now we're moving around sort of in back of the sofa.
I can see why home movies have a bad name.
Yes. Okay, there's the fireplace. You can see the smoke stains going up the fireplace. our TV and Jackie's totem pole. And then, although this is very difficult for the camera, let's see here. That's the view out our back door. And this is the view out the side door. So I think you can see why we spend so much time in here. It's such a pleasant room in and of itself. Plus it's so nice to look out and be able to see everything. This tree that you're looking at in the corner is 100% artificial. But it looks very realistic. Okay, there's my chair. As you can see, I'm close to the TV. Now we will zoom out here on the old totem pole and go up the totem. I believe when Amy and Michelle were here, they made some comparison that the top totem pole looked like me, because if you look from the profile, he doesn't have nearly the belly that I have. It was not a good comparison. Okay, we're going to move on out. I mean, that's quite a lot of time on the family room. That's a cantaloupe. We'll zoom in close on the cantaloupe. On the counter, cantaloupes are down to 19 cents a pound, compared to 79 cents a pound that they sometimes are in the winter when Jackie doesn't think I know she's buying them at that ridiculously high price.
He doesn't know it, but sometimes they're even more than 75 cents a pound.
Okay, going into the kitchen. This is a little desk, telephone, and rabbit that some people gave me a couple years ago. These are Jackie's cookbooks. You see the wallpaper, nice border around the wallpaper going up to the ceiling. This is a birthday card that Jackie got. Jackie's birthday is not until July 26th. However, her brother thought it was June 26th, so we sent her a birthday card in June.
So we're keeping it until July.
Keeping it on display. Longest birthday card display ever. Okay, not a lot to look at in the family room, although we have replaced the flooring in here since we moved in. Not in the family room though, just in the kitchen. And let's see. Put in a new cooktop. See, there's not really a kitchen range here. What there is a built-in cooktop. I'll zoom in. Pop will find that interesting. And it's just 4 burners. It's like there was a stove, but it's just built in. And the thing up there, that white thing or brownish thing, is the hood. Then we had this cupboard we had built, and then the oven down here, the bottom oven, is the regular electric oven. And when we moved in, it was mounted higher. When we had the cabinet work redone, we had the microwave mounted on the top, and the regular oven moved down, and a cover that was on the bottom, that cover on the bottom used to be longer than that. Okay, now this is our dining area, coming right out of the kitchen. I'll back up here just a little bit. See, there's the cupboard and the kitchen and floor edge. And going into the dining room, there's our dining room table. And this is the view we have from our dining room table. As soon as the camera readjusts. See, we can look out the dining room. Okay, we're back on now. Another totem pole there in the corner. And right there is our chandelier, which is one of the nicest things we have in the house. We bought it when we moved in and had the old light replaced. Kind of an interesting picture we have on. Okay, now this is kind of a long shot of our dining area. Then pulling back from the dining area, we go into the living room, where we have spent one evening sitting in our lives and one part of one afternoon. See the view out the front window in the living room. Really not much to the living room. We really don't use it at all, because the family room is where we spend all of our time. Okay, we're moving to the back of the house now. This is the bathroom. Nothing real exciting in the bathroom, just the normal stuff. That cord that you see is the cord that's running the video camera because my battery ran down. Nice big mirror. Just reset the camera a little bit. Let me take another pan through the living room. I think it'll maybe give you a little better view. There's the old dog waiting for me to take his picture again. Okay, now we move back. Okay, now we're about to go into the guest room. Guest room is pretty simple. I have a simple shade over one window, and as I remember, we just painted the walls in here. That's my portable telephone. When I talk to you on the portable telephone, that's what it is. The white one sitting right there with a little antenna on it. And let me zoom the old camera back. Let me go up into the other end. Nice floor to ceiling, or well, not quite floor to ceiling, but nice big mirrors in here. And this is my closet. Jackie has the other closet completely full. And we'll pull around here and take a picture of me looking silly. Okay, we won't go all the way into this room, but this is be a third bedroom, and there's boxes on top of the bookshelves are all my photographs. And then this is a dresser that Jackie uses, because as you'll see here in a second, our bedroom is so small that we can't get a dresser in. Shoot this room for just a minute with that one drape closed so you can sort of see what kind of drape it is. It's called a room and shade. It's our brass bed. The wallpaper in here is called grass cloth. Okay, now I've changed the light setting on the camera and opened the blinds a little bit. You see how the blinds pull up when they're not in use. And I think you're going to be able to get a little better view of the room because there's now more light. I'll walk into the room, and that's going to show my camera cord and shoot back out into the hallway. And that's the view from our bedroom window, or at least one of them. We'll quickly here reshoot a couple things because I've changed the light setting on the camera. I don't know if it's going to make any difference or not, but just in case it does, that's the view out of our guest room window. As you can see, the houses are very close. I'll turn the light on in the bathroom again.
Don't show them the mold on the ceiling.
Oh, okay. Okay, and that's the bathroom. Like I said, nothing spectacular. Jackie's dad and I installed that door, and there was an old carpet on the floor that I ripped up that Sunday afternoon. And this thing hanging on the wall in the hallway is a macrame sculpture hanging that one of Jackie's friends made for us. And there, once again, is the dog. Says he's not taking any chances on getting left out of any pictures. Real quickly work my way back through the living room. Let's go over here. I didn't give you this view of the living room. There's another fireplace here in the living room. And although you can't see it, or I would think you can't see it, it's got a gas jet in it. Well, I don't know, maybe you can. Yeah, there's a pipe in there. See, I've got the camera set right now, but I can't adjust enough for that bright outdoor lighting. And a little plant going up the map. Well, I'm not sure this is in focus, but anyhow, that's the end of our little video show for the moment. I'll probably set the camera up out by the swimming pool when I go in after a while, and I also think that I'll show you what I'm doing when I cook dinner on the charcoals. Notice how much the dog wants to stay with me. I only have to have a hammer log on him. Okay, we're back on. Remember this morning I showed you my charcoal lighting chimney and the gas jet. Well, this is how it works. I set that chimney down there on that gas jet and light it, and eventually what happens is the bottom charcoals light on fire. What's really happening on top there is gas is burning off on the top, and then I leave it in that chimney till the flames come out the top. Since it's just after 5 o'clock, the light has changed to the other side of the house, so I'll shoot a little more of the backyard for you now that the sun is directly on it. Earlier you were dealing largely in shadows. See how nice the cactus looks? Try to get you a close-up of the flower this morning. We get the tripod and set the camera down, play ball with the dog, so maybe you can see how he plays. You need me to hurt her, sweetie? Get it. Hurry up. Get it. Good job. He won't be able to get that one. See how far out it is? He always tries to drink the swimming pool down when he gets out that far. I'll have to go get it. See, there's our dog Guest. She finally woke up and kind of had to be herded out to the back orchard to go to the bathroom. She thinks she may explore a little bit. Nathan. That's Jackie enjoying the sun, one of her favorite things to do. He's not much of a ball player, Dad. Well, Nathan's not as good as he was when he was a pup, but he's... Aww. Okay. The dog ball is in the pool. Nathan is trying to drink enough of the pool that it will come toward him. But Jackie to the rescue. She slides it over. Get the hook out of the way.
What hook?
He nabs it. And he comes back with water drifting off. Okay, now this is what my Cornish game hens that I'm cooking tonight look like at the start. It's about 5:40 and they just look like little chickens, which is what they are. The reason why we're getting so much smoke is I put some special wood in there that smokes and gives them a little smoky flavor. Now we'll look at them again. You can see we've now added some zucchinis and apples to the grill because we're having zooks and apples with our chickens tonight. Okay, we're almost done here. So I'm going to shoot a couple pictures and I'm going to take the camera inside. You can see the game hens have a nice golden glow to them. The apples are starting to bake. The zucchini's looking pretty good. I'm hungry as a dickens. What you're seeing there is the hummingbird. At the hummingbird feeder, you can see the bubbles going up when he takes something to drink. He's a thirsty little pig. He's been there a long time. There he goes. I've got this set up so that it's right next to where I eat dinner, my chair. So when I see him coming, I'll reach up and turn it on. Okay, now jump in. Let me see how that looks.
Right.
Put your hand over your head. No, straight up in the ear, sweetie. Okay. Thanks.
Knock him out. Oh, you can if you want. You have to go right down to the camera. When you get down there, there's a red button on the right side. Push it. What will that do? Shuts it off.
Yeah.
Push the red button again. Hold your finger on it.
Now you
Narrate
see
anytime.
Lou. I am narrating this action because I thought it was kind of boring with just Lou diving in. He dives. He's trying to cover the main drain with that dish drainer that he had in his hand. You may have been able to see his wonderful bathing costume complete with goggles, and there is his foot. He's emerging from the pool, but you can't quite see him because he's out of your range. In a moment, he'll return.
You can turn it off.
Action's about to start again, and I'm going to try to do this so you will see as
Big
Lou
splash is fine.
goes in. Ooh, a big splash, as he said. Can we spot him? Yes, there he is now. So we're going to try this again. Since this is my first attempt, I haven't taken shots before with a camera, so we're going to try to get all this action once again. We'll see how we do. There he is, the world champion diver with goggles. And there he goes. I don't know quite where he'll come up, but hopefully we'll be able to see him. There he is now. All the grace of a porpoise. Can you hear the sound effects? Wave to the camera now, Lou. There he is. Mr. Olympia. Now he's showing you how he floats on his back. As you'll notice, he turns over.
I'm not real good at that.
We'll try to see if we can get him to dive. Since he's so buoyant, he can hardly reach the bottom. Can you dive for us now, Louise? A pathetic attempt. He can't reach the bottom. But he gave it his all.
I got a big mouthful of water. You can turn it off now. Let's go. Bring it. Go get the ball.
Now we're going to see how Lou and Nathan play ball while Lou is in the pool.
Very slowly. Come on, dog pal. Shut it off, sweetie. He's standing under the chair. He's not going to come. Check.
Okay, I got it.
Ready?
Now this is Lou's final dive. As you can tell, we didn't see them playing ball because Nathan wouldn't come. He's taken his final graceful dive of the day. Will he emerge? Let's see. Yes, there he is. He's taking out the diving ring, so obviously he managed to reach the bottom. Perhaps you can hear him laugh in triumph. And on that note, perhaps we can get him to wave when he finally emerges from the water. Now wave bye-bye to the camera. Lou says goodbye.
Okay, well, now you can make faces.
Now I'm reading the Sunday paper, one of the things we like to do. We do it on the patio when the weather's warm, which it is today. It's a beautiful California summer day.
Yeah, you can see we're having a real exciting day. can see it's 80 degrees at about 3:43. See how the dog face is looking. Look up here, Buster. I think you can see that his face is quite wet and icky from dipping the dog bowl out of the pool.
He looks as usual disgusting stuff.
Get your foot in. Get your foot in. Get your foot in there.
He's almost got it. Get your foot in there, boy.
Get your foot in there, buddy.
We're rolling.
Okay, you didn't have to sit. Come here, dog. Come here. Well, this is the end of the tape. Jackie's going to say something now.
Hope you've enjoyed this tour of the house. We wish you could come and see it. Lou's going to say something now.
Yeah, I wish you could come and see us. Take a look at the house yourself.
Although you've seen every detail of it, I'll tell you that right now, except the garage. We didn't manage to get the garage up there. We're lucky.
That's because Jackie threatened me if I showed the garage.
It's too horrible.
Because it's too ugly.
It's even worse than the pool house, if you can imagine that.
The dog still wants to play a little ball here.
As always.
The people who owned the doggy we were babysitting this weekend just stopped by to pick him up. Her up.
And she was really happy to see him, too.
Well, she was happy. Of course, Nathan was happy to see him, too. He thinks they're swell.
Yeah, he likes them.
Okay, anything else you want to say, my wife?
Oh, that's about it. I'm sorry I'm not there to see you this time, and I hope that you have a good time with Lou anyway.
And enjoy the muffins.
Yeah, and enjoy the muffins, which I hope we remember to send you.
Oh, in other words, I shouldn't have mentioned that. I see.
Now it'll be Lou's responsibility to remember those muffins.
Call the dog up there.
Oh, Nathan. Come on. I don't know why I always have to call the dog, but I guess I do. Here he is. One last shot of the dog.
Jackie and her friend the dog. Give him a kiss.